And then at some point, I started realizing, I was like, yeah, so we were friends at the beginning. Then I was like, oh, wow, but I think I want to be more than friends. So I started giving hints to certain someone. So, hello everyone. We decided to make a video about how we met because it was actually a quite interesting story.
It all started with
with my mom.
It all started when my mom met my dad and they fell in love.
Okay. TikTok is
with the internship abroad, right? So both our universities had an exchange program that they offered. My university was Maastricht University in the Netherlands, and your university is?
So I studied KIMEP, which is in Kazakhstan.
Yeah.
And which is actually quite far. I mean, the Netherlands and Kazakhstan are like...
It's like 6 hours flying to the nearest city in Kazakhstan. Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, other than that, like, both are not internship programs, the
exchange program.
The exchange program, that's what they call it.
Yeah, an exchange program.
Not the internship abroad.
No.
Why did I say internship abroad?
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, so both of us applied for an exchange program. To be honest, on my side, it was a horrific experience because it was still like COVID time. I'm saying that because in Kazakhstan it's not a COVID time, but I think in Korea it still is like.
Yeah,
right?
It was pretty hard.
No, I mean, at the moment, I'm not sure what's happening in Korea, but at that moment, it was really bad, and no tourists were allowed, and only, like, visas, the ones who go for an exchange or to study there, were allowed to get a visa. However, it was extremely difficult to get one. I'm not gonna lie. I thought I'm gonna just give up on that idea because it was my dream to go to Korea. But eventually it all worked out, and the time was there. It was wonderful. So yeah.
Yeah, I had the same problems with the visa. So as a Dutch person, you have access to a lot of countries without a visa. But this was the first time that I had to apply for a visa because I was going to be a student for longer than a period of 90 days. So that whole process was a bit difficult. My university didn't really help me that much.
Yeah,
with
neither,
that. So I had to do the fast track and pay extra money. I paid like 300 euros just to get the visa.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, the fast track I got within a week or two. And yeah, I got the stamp, and at the end of the day, it didn't really matter because your PCR test decided whether or not you could go. So yeah, that was like two heart attacks next to each other. And
then the quarantine time was there.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. It was so bad, the quarantine time. We had to spend 2 weeks. So both of us spent the quarantine in the dormitory so we went to Gyeonggi University for an exchange. And we had to spend the quarantine there in their dorm, which was very convenient because I was living in the dorm later on. There were several dorms and I just had to move all of my stuff from one building to the other. However, Jehian was living...
Yeah. So my living arrangements were not at the dorms of the university. So after the 2-week quarantine, which was like the most isolating experience, we didn't even meet each other yet, right?
No,
We're not there yet. But yeah, the only person I talked to was eventually her roommate during the quarantine time.
Yes. So me and my roommate, we were taking the same Korean classes. And I was like, oh, her background looks actually quite familiar. I was like, are you maybe study in Gyeonggi as well? And she was like, yeah. And then it appears to be that she was living near me. So like my door and then the door next to it.
Oh yeah. Wow.
Yeah, and so I offered her, oh, why don't we live together? She agreed. Yeah. And thanks to that, later on...
Whoa. I haven't explained my...
Okay. Okay, go ahead.
I haven't explained my living arrangement.
Oh, yeah. Sorry. Go ahead.
So yeah, so I had to move out of the dorm after the quarantine because I was living with my best friend's family. They would let me stay there for free. I would get board and housing, just.
But you had the experience of living actual Korean life.
Yeah, I got the boarding and the housing in this. Yeah, so it was very different from what every other exchange student had.
Yeah.
I was living with basically another family.
Yeah.
And I had more Korean than English in my experience. So, but it was in Seoul, right? And Gyeonggi has 2 campuses, and we were studying at the Suwon campus, which is like
30 minutes.
30 minutes with the metro.
Yep. From Seoul to Suwon.
It's Seoul to Suwon. No, it was 45 minutes, wasn't it?
I don't remember.
It was longer than that. Yeah.
Around that. Less than an hour.
Yeah, so that was a lot of transit for me. Luckily, most of the classes were online, but like that's anyway. But then, it was like a week before our classes started at Gyeonggi. And that was around August.
So the end of the August.
Yeah. And you're just bored, right? After the quarantine, you want to do things.
Yeah, especially you want to explore Korea because that's the exact reason why you came here, right? You want to see everything.
Yeah, I just came for the free house.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. In my case, I just wanted to explore as many things as possible before the study starts. So, yeah.
Yeah, so I texted my roommates who happened to be in the same university as me, Maastricht University. We were on the same exchange group. And her roommate was already living with you at the time?
Yeah.
When we started hanging out, so I offered to go to the aquarium, and her roommate wasn't really up for it because she doesn't believe in aquariums.
Yeah.
But you were fortunately very bored at the time, and you were eager to hang out and do something, right?
Yeah. And then at that time, I was like, oh, is it fine if I go with you guys? Because I thought that maybe they are dating or something.
Yeah.
And then she was like, no, what are you talking about? I was like, oh, okay, great then. And then I saw him. It was very nice because the first thing, so again, it's a COVID time. You are not allowed to appear in a public without a mask. So you had to wear them. And I remember the first time I saw Jehian, I was like, in my mind, I was like, wow, his eyes are so big. Because this is the first thing you see, right? The mask is covering the half of your face. Yeah, and then I was like, oh, he's kind of cute.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, for me, it took a while. I was trying to figure out how to pronounce your name at the escalator.
Yeah, it's not difficult.
Yeah, it wasn't difficult. I just be me being me. So the 3 of us met at the Lotte Mall. Which there's Lotte World and there's Lotte Mall, right?
Oh, I don't know.
The one with the aquarium in it, right?
I confuse them.
Yeah, so we went to the aquarium, and then there were 3 of us, and the aquarium attendant was like, you want a couple's discount? I was like, oh, but we're not dating anyone at the moment. And then eventually what happened is, long story short, the 2 girls got the couple's discount, and I had to pay full price for the aquarium.
Jehian was just a nice gentleman, so he paid full price.
Okay, and then we went to the aquarium. It was nice. It was fun, and we went to get lunch afterwards, right?
Yeah, we had lunch, and then eventually we started hanging out more and more.
Wait, I was gonna get my impression of you.
Impression? Oh, you didn't say it.
Yeah, I was gonna say it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Okay, so
Go ahead.
when we get the lunch after the aquarium, you had that tteokbokki on a stick, some kind of grilled cheese with tteokbokki on a stick.
You remember that? I don't even remember what I ate yesterday.
And then we were trying to eat it, and then we were trying to find a place. They wouldn't let us in because it was from another place.
Corn dog. That was a corn dog.
Were you eating? Oh, I was eating the tteokbokki with weird cheese.
Yeah.
Okay, so you had the corn dog.
Yeah.
And then you took off your mask, and I did not expect to see that kind of mouth. I was like, wait, what? And I thought, oh, she's actually kind of cute. Because all I saw was the eyes, right? I just see like, yeah.
It's actually quite a gambling, right? Yeah. You're wearing a mask out, It covers half of your face.
Oh,
And
yeah.
you're not kind of sure. Like, your eyes can be beautiful, but what's there? Like,
Yeah.
under.
I think because I saw you and I was kind of like stunned to see your mouth for the first time. I was like, oh, I kind of want to see her eat more. I don't know what it was. It was really nice.
And then at some point, I started realizing, I was like, yeah, so we were friends at the beginning. Then I was like,
Yeah.
oh, wow, but I think I want to be more than friends. So I started giving hints
Yeah.
to certain someone. And for some reason, unfortunately, not all of them worked the way I wanted them to.
Yeah. That's mostly my fault. Actually, it's all of my fault.
That's fine, because the confession was actually kind of cute because it happened near the Han River,
Yeah.
evening, the romantic atmosphere, and that was the fastest Jehian heard.
By then it was like 4 months of friendship, right?
That's actually, I still believe that it's so good that we were friends in the beginning,
Yeah.
because it was not as awkward when we started dating, and I already knew what kind of person you are.
Yeah.
So that was fine, in my opinion.
Yeah, honestly, the reason why I didn't get the hints was because I was already kind of negative by myself. And so I was like, there's no way, right? I'm just gonna enjoy what I have right now in Korea.
Oh.
But then, the hints started dropping. She sent me a picture of her in a handbook, which was really beautiful. And I was like, oh, sure, I guess. That's beautiful. Oh, hang on. And then we started hanging out more and more without the other friend, just the two of us.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, eventually I was like, well, what did you say that triggered me? It was like, yeah, you said I was slow.
Yeah, I said that.
I was sending her home on the bus stop, and then she was like, how long have we known each other? And I said 4 months. And she said, you're so slow. And I was like, in my mind, I'm not slow. I'm fast. I run fast. And then I sent her off. I just sent her off. And then it was like 3 a.m. and I was awake and I realized what she meant by that. And I had to send her a text quickly to make sure I still had my chance.
Yeah, which was what time?
Yeah, 3 a.m., right?
3
Yeah.
a.m. Exactly.
And then she's like, oh, I'm surprised you still remember that. It's
Yeah,
like,
exactly. You sent me off
Yeah.
without.
So it was like a time span of like 6 hours or something. Yeah. And then we agreed to meet later that evening. And it was a nice restaurant date
Yeah.
that eventually led to the Yoido part of the Han River.
Mm.
And I was shaking. My legs were like, not because they were cold, but it was also very nerve-wracking. And I tried to get her to help me by saying, I don't know if I should say it. And you know what she said? She just said, don't say it. Okay, well, great.
For reference, for reference, the only hint, let's call it a hint, that worked was when I directly said that he was slow. But there were countless number of hints before that.
Yeah.
So why am I supposed to help you?
Yeah, let's just say it was like the last minute, right? It was like I would have lost you forever if I didn't, so I needed some help.
Yeah.
So yeah, I said, would you want to go out with me? Before I said me, she said yes. And that's when we got comfortable, and then we started figuring out like, okay, well, we're dating now, but we're leaving soon, right? Our exchange program was ending.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when we realized that our relationship was going to be a long distance relationship.
Yeah, we're managing fine, but in the first couple of months it was weird, and then a certain, uncertainty to it, because
Yeah.
we didn't know when are we gonna meet and how is it gonna work out in the future. Eventually, Jehian was able to book tickets to Kazakhstan,
Yeah.
which I'm so grateful for, to be honest.
Yeah.
And then he came to Kazakhstan, and we were like, oh yeah, okay, so this is how it works. And now he's in Kazakhstan for the second time.
Yeah, the second time in the same year, right? In
In the same year.
Couple of months.
Yeah, so he came last time in June, and now it's October. So yeah.
And I just finished university, right? So I'm gonna be working. So
yeah, I need to get my diploma, work, and then eventually it will work out because we already know what we want, how will we get it, and other things.
Yeah.
But I really love Korea for the opportunity to meet Jehian and to do other things, you know?
Yeah.
So it's really nice. This is how our story went. I really hope that you liked this video. We would be glad to read your thoughts on our story in the comment section. Please subscribe to our channel, like this video, and we will be happy to see you in the next one. Bye bye!
See ya.